Alright, I'm back, and we have this little number. Not much going on there. This is Pure Project in collaboration with Outer Range. Not sure what Outer Range is, but Pure Project, a very hype, respected brewery out of California, San Diego, California. This one was gifted to me in a beer trade with me and Jack from the virtual groom room. Coming in at 8.5 ABV. You can see that there. So it says, for optimal flavor, we recommend storing this beer cold and drinking it as close to the canning date as possible. For those who believe in quality ingredients and attention to detail, from grain to glass. So, looks like this one was canned in April, so we're not doing too hot as far as drinking it as close to the date as possible. But this one is called Hublon Deluxe, a Murky double IPA. Let's go ahead and crack this thing and get right into it. I got the good old IPA glass here, and they just couldn't bear calling it a hazy IPA, could they? That's one thing I've noticed about Pure Project. It's a fucking hazy IPA. Just call it a hazy IPA. Stop trying to be a fucking hipster out here. It is what it is. It's a hazy IPA. It's not even murky. Like, that is definitely a hazy IPA. But anyhow, before I get on a rant, let's go ahead and test this thing out. Very nice nose. It's got faint citrus, but a good amount of resinous pine. A lot of foam on that one. It definitely has a lot of malt going on. Good malt presence. Let's go ahead and take another swig here. All right, low bitterness, good malt presence. It is kind of sweet. This one has a lot of juice, a lot of fruit flavors going on. Probably a mixture of tropical fruits. Very juicy, very low bitterness. A lot of body. It's very pillowy soft on the mouthfeel, but just not much else other than fruit and a lot of malt. So not the best double IPA I've ever had. Definitely think maybe closer to the can date, it would be a little bit more vibrant, but good fruit flavor, but just wish it had a little bit more bitterness. All right, moving right along. We got the Razor Company in collaboration with Heritage Hill Shave Company. This one's called The People's Shave Soap. Nice artwork there. It kind of looks like the Constitution in the background. We got We the People and a quill to write with. Very nice artwork there. Simplistic artwork, but very nice. Gets the job done. There's the ingredients. This is a tallow soap. Heritage Hill. Very nice simplistic side label as well. And then I'll go ahead and pop the top, give you a look at the soap itself. It's kind of a grayish brown color, and it's actually quite hard. You can see where I push there. It takes quite a bit of pressure to actually push into this soap, so it's quite a firm soap indeed. We're also going to be using this bad boy. This is a safety razor that is coming soon to the market from the Razor Company. You can see there has a nice handle here, sleek on the bottom, a very thin, shallow indentation in the middle, and then these kind of vertical knurling on the top end. You can see the top cap there has three very noticeable and unsightly, in my opinion, kind of I don't even know what you would call those. One of them is the extension of The middle one is the extension of the screw that goes into the handle, which I might add, it's quite a long screw and it screws on quite smoothly. You can also see those very enlarged lather channels. I think we'll have a tough time clogging those. And then there's a look at the base plate and top cap. So the top cap has two holes that align with the extra posts on the base cap there. And this one is actually annotated level 1. If you notice there underneath the bottom post, level 1, made in the USA. Now, I might as well take this opportunity to load a fresh Wizamet Super Iridium blade. This is my now favorite blade. Used to be Pole Silver, but Pole Silver is sadly no longer with us. So we have moved on to Wizamet, which is also a blade out of Russia and very, very fucking similar to the old Pole Silvers of legend. So we'll screw that on. Screws on very nicely. The threading feels very nice. And I just plopped it in there and tightened it down. And it looks like we have a quite even reveal. So the alignment didn't need no extra attention. Alignment felt just right. It's quite a chunky head indeed. And you can kind of get a better look at the reveal there if you'd like, on the blade gap and such. It is, I mean, it's flat on the top, and then it has like this nice chamfer towards the edges. And then if you can kind of notice, there's an additional chamfer right where the top cap meets the blade, as well as right where the safety bar kind of hits its end. There's an additional chamfer on both of those. And then, as you can see on the side, the blade tabs are covered, and it has this little indentation on the bottom cap, which might help you grip the blade. We have the soap already lathered up in our Lancaster Razor Works shave bowl. Beautiful shave bowl right there. A staple of my daily shaves. And then the brush is from Viking Soaps and Cosmetics. This old brush I got for a hell of a deal from Viking Soaps. It has the yellow on top. I think it was olive wood on the bottom. And then we have a Strike Gold Shave hand-tied executive badger knot on top of that. Now that we are good and winded with that long introduction, let's go ahead and wet the face and get this shave on the road. Hope everybody is doing well. Shout out to Jason from the Razor Company for sending me both the razor and the soap for free as a gift. No strings attached, no video required. It was a surprise mail call, and there was no strings attached. He didn't ask me to make content on it. He didn't ask me to say this or say that. As a matter of fact, I didn't even look up the specs of the razor or any additional information about the razor before this video. So I probably should have, just for the sake of quality content, but I forgot. It is close to my bedtime and I totally forgot. So sorry and shit, as they say. But I'll do another video with this razor for sure, and we'll get all the details covered sooner or later. But as far as today's shave goes, this will just be first impressions on the razor. Also first impressions on the soap, but I've used Heritage Hill's formula many times before. I am a big fan of Heritage Hill. I think they have a killer soap formula for a good price. They're also one of the ones that offer multiple different tub sizes, and the price per ounce doesn't scale unevenly depending on which size tub you choose. So that is something to be applauded, to be recognized and upheld and applauded. All right, soap looks good. Let's go ahead and take another sip before we get into this. Fresh Wizamet Blade, brand new razor. Not a fan of the aesthetics of this razor, but let's see how it shaves. Okay. It's kind of a weird experience for me. One thing I'm noticing here is it definitely is cutting. You can see a few hairs caught up in the mix. When I'm doing the ever so light touch that I am accustomed to, you know, the techniques that were handed down to me from many a wet shaver, to use a light touch and to not put too much pressure. When I use a super light touch, I don't feel like it's actually shaving much. Which leads me to believe this is going to be a mild offering if you don't apply a little bit extra pressure. And just going off like face feel as I shave, my immediate instinct is to put a little bit more pressure, because I want to have that feedback, not necessarily when it comes to audio feedback, but I want to have that feedback on the skin. It's more of a feedback of touch. I don't know if that's like haptic feedback, kind of like you have on your cell phone, but I want to have that feel, that skin feel, that the blade is in constant contact with the skin and it's at a comfortable angle. So I want to know it's working, but I still want it to be comfortable. Now, I've had no issues on this first pass when it comes to being comfortable. This razor feels very smooth. No problems there whatsoever. Very, very smooth, even with added pressure, because my instinct, like when I'm in cruise control, my instinct is telling me add more pressure. You're not getting the normal feedback. I think the one and only razor, maybe there's two, but the second one's a little bit of a stretch. The one and only razor that I can definitely say I've had a similar experience with, I think, was the Henson Medium. The Henson Medium, the original Henson. So whatever the hell that was. I think the original Henson was medium. I believe it was stainless steel. I'm not a big fan of the Henson whatsoever, So if you can already foreshadow my feelings about this, I do get a little bit of blade feel, which I'm happy about. I do get a little bit of blade feel. It's minimal. It's minimal blade feel, but it's better than no blade feel in my opinion. I do like that little bit of blade feel, that haptic feedback, if you will, if you can follow my ramblings. I do appreciate a little bit of blade feel. A little bit up to a medium amount of blade feel. I don't like a whole hell of a lot of blade feel that it just feels like I'm in constant danger. But low to medium blade feel, I can appreciate that. I definitely like that. All right, let's see how she does against the grain. Very little reveal as well when you're looking at it down the side there. The top cap kind of cut short, but where the blade meets the base cap, there's definitely not a lot of overhang there where the blade meets the base cap, or the safety bar, if you will. A lot of extra added pressure there. Absolutely no discomfort. I think this razor has a place, probably with crossover new wet shavers. In my opinion, it doesn't have the aesthetic to make anybody cross over. We all have our own opinions on the looks of things, and looks are subjective, so, you know, definitely don't worry if you like the looks of this thing and I'm over here trashing the looks of this thing. My opinion doesn't matter when it comes to aesthetics. That's just, you know, the way I feel about it. But as far as the performance goes, I think I'm getting a good shave. Definitely no nicks or cuts or weepers as of yet, but I just don't know how efficient this damn thing is. I didn't give a feel around on the first pass. And see, the soap's so slick, I'm doing all these subsequent strokes, stroke after stroke after stroke, because I'm not getting I'm not getting that feedback that I want. So what do? I'm stretching my skin, I'm choking up on the razor, adding more pressure, because I'm not getting the feedback I want. I'm not feeling what I want to feel, which is an indication that the razor's cutting and work is being done. That felt pretty good. That little across the grain felt pretty good. But the straight against the grain was a little wishy-washy. That side wasn't too bad. Kind of makes me feel like there's a small sweet spot, because I was struggling on the other side of my neck. I seem to have got it down on this side of my neck. Still using added pressure though to get that desired skin feel. Feel that lets me know that something work is being done here. I'm not just running a razor over my face for no reason. Okay. Alright. Absolutely no problems with those lather channels whatsoever. Looking at the aftermath of this shave, it looks like I got two very tiny weepers, and those might be the result of blemishes. Pretty prone to blemishes on the neck area, so I'm definitely not going to hold that against the razor, because I'll, there's nothing you can do, even with my favorite razors. There's nothing you really can do. If you got some blemishes, you're going to run over them and open them, so no big deal there. Those, I don't believe those two were true weepers, but the shave was very comfortable, but I'll tell you what, it wasn't the most enjoyable experience I've ever had with the razor. And the reason being is, as a very experienced wet shaver that's got years under my belt, not tooting my horn, just kind of telling you the stage of my journey that I'm in. I don't want training wheels on my razor, and I feel like this razor does have training wheels on it. And I can appreciate that there's a place in the market for it, and I just don't think that place is with someone like me. It gave me a close, comfortable shave, but it is definitely not BBS. I did all right on the Adam's apple, but there's these patches on either end, kind of where my neck rounds the corner, my beard rounds the corner, where I always have trouble with, and I'm not BBS on either one of those sides. So, didn't get me BBS, and I did my normal strokes, and I put additional pressure, which puts the blade at closer contact with the skin, which should, in theory, get you a closer shave. So even with the added pressure, this thing is still protecting you from that blade almost to a fault, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Take it with a grain of salt. This is my first run with the razor, so my familiarity and technique with this razor can improve, and when and if it does, my results may also improve. But on this first run, my first impressions, not really a fan of the aesthetics, not really a fan of the shave. I think it also teaches newbie wet shavers bad habits by kind of forcing you to, well, not forcing you, but I think instincts will kick in, and adding more pressure will be allowed because you're not really penalized for it with this razor. And then the result is, when you move on to that next razor that doesn't have that buffer or those training wheels, you'll end up using that same amount of pressure, but you're going to be getting drastically different results. And it might not, this whole wet shaving thing might not be so enjoyable when you're using a different razor down the road after this one, and you're cutting yourself to pieces because the last few months or years you've been using this razor that taught you that additional pressure is okay, or allowed you to use this additional pressure. Might not necessarily have taught you, but it allowed you to get away with using additional pressure. And then the next razor you move on to can't get away with that, and you end up getting bad shaves. So I'm not a fan of razors like this or the Henson. I still appreciate the gift. I appreciate Jason for thinking of me and sending this to me, and I really hope that this negative feedback is received with the understanding that huge fan of TRC, huge fan of Jason. Love the guy, but I gotta call it as I see it. First impressions, I don't really like this thing. Okay, guys, that'll do it for today's shave. I appreciate you. Hope you guys have a good rest of your week. Cheers, and I'll catch you on the next one.